Thompson Center presents You Call the Shots. Join our panel of experts, Gordy Cron, Mark Kaiser, and Mr. Whitetail Larry Weishuhn, as we invite you to call the shots.
There are a lot of great places to hunt black bear in North America. We're blessed with a huge population of black bear. Big bear in some instances, but right here particularly we're hunting in British Columbia. It's all spot and stalk. There's no baiting. Some of the most beautiful country. Yeah. I mean, all kinds of cool things going on there during the springtime.
Look at how gorgeous that is.
And black bear.
And
lots
spot and
of
stalk
them.
black bear.
Spot and stalk. I mean, that is so much fun, especially in this inland. This is an inland situation. You know, you can hunt them on the coastal area as well, but you get on the inland, and what you do is kind of like what you do there. You hunt those cutover areas or areas where there's food back up off on the mountains, and it's early in the spring, the rut is going on up there. So a lot of times when you find a single bear, it's usually a big old boar that's out roaming around, and occasionally you find a sow, you know, being followed by a bear. But there's a bear right there. He's up on a hillside.
And he's definitely a one you want because you guys are getting ready.
You kind of noticed that, did you?
It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, there is a lot of cover here, and it, you know as well as I do that black bears are difficult to judge, and the brush is making it even more difficult.
That'd be my biggest concern. Not so much a little bit of brush in front of him, but getting the right judge on a bear.
Right.
You know, if you hunt black bear a fair amount, of course, you're hunting with a guide, and you have to hunt with a guide there, and a lot of times they've looked at bear under every imaginable circumstance, and so you depend, if you got enough faith to book with that guide, you know, have enough faith to depend upon that guide to tell you whether or not to shoot.
And between the two of you, you know, talk it over, and I would say, you know, with the guides saying that's a good bear, your experience with bear hunting, I know you're very experienced in that, 190 yards is getting out there, but easily doable with the rifle again you've chosen. And once again, Larry, you impressed me with the amount of firepower you take into the field.
Use enough gun, by golly.
375 H&H. I think it'll do the job.
And I think that is key here because you've got a quartering forward bear. And if it was a lesser caliber, I might be a little nervous about this shot angle. But knowing with that 375, I could bust down that shoulder. That's where I would be aiming, right at the point of the shoulder. And I'm going to go on a limb and say this is a shooter bear, and I know that the guides up there, they judge him conservatively. He's not going to tell you to pull the trigger unless he's pretty sure that that is a shooter bear.
Mark, I appreciate the fact that you noticed that 375 H&H. You know, I do like big cartridges, and there's a reason for it, especially when you're hunting big game, potentially dangerous game, hunting in a situation where you may have to punch something through a little bit of brush. Plus, you've got a big frontal area of that bullet hitting, and I like to hit them so hard that they go down.
That they feel it.
And with that 375, or, you know, I'll shoot a 375, a 416 Rigby, a 405 Winchester, but with that 375, you still got enough long range ability there, but it's such a hard-hitting bullet that it's going to drive it through that animal and put him down quickly. And that's what we're all after anyway, so that's one of the reasons I really like those really big calibers hunting in these kind of situations.
Oh man.
He tripped, huh?
He did trip.
That's a bad deal, Larry.
He did trip.
I think you tripped him up.
Well, he went on a big trip from British Columbia all the way back to Texas too. So
you're shooting from a low angle on that bear, so I assumed you had to hold down just a little bit, didn't you?
Well, actually, you know, we're talking about 190 yards this way. From this way, straight across, it's probably about 100. So I just tell where I would for a 100-yard shot, which was right on the point of that shoulder to drive that bullet. And you can do that with that 375, shooting a 270 grain bullet right through that scapula, breaking down this bone system right here, plus going through the lungs and then exiting out on this other side. So the bear didn't, all he did is just kind of literally, as you say, tripped and kind of rolled right there into that little creek.
We saw how quickly that broke him down.
Oh, it does.
It is a steep old incline you went up there.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But a beautiful bear. I mean, British Columbia's got such fantastic hunting when it comes to black bear. And again, whether you hunt on the coastal areas, you know, like off at the islands or go farther inland,